Alright everyone, welcome back again to some more Trails of Cold Steel 2. So we finally made it back to the mirror with everyone now intact. So it's official, all of Class 7 is back together. Which means I'm hoping in the next intro, we see all of them in the mirror in this picture right now that we're looking at. Just like chilling. So if anything else guys, we're going to continue on from where we last left off. Thank you all for the love and support. Hope you all continue to enjoy. Let's get right back into it. Thus, they left for the Phoenix Wings to recover from the exhaustion that had built up over the past few days. Thanks to the manager's kindness, they had the building largely to themselves, so they enjoyed a relaxing dinner and soak in the springs. And after agreeing that they would discuss what to do next the following afternoon, they returned to their rooms to sleep. It's so peaceful tonight. Everyone's probably fast asleep by now. We might have all spent our time apart in different ways, all with different things in our minds. But now we're finally back together as a class. It wasn't easy getting this far, but we have one less thing to worry about now. And I owe it all to Elise's support and encouragement. It's thanks to her that I've been able to make it this far. Hang in there, Elise. I'll bring you and Princess Alphen back safely, I promise. And when I do, I'll be sure to thank you again for giving me all I needed to come as far as I have. We still have to sit down and discuss what we're going to do from here on out too. Can we even figure something like that out by tomorrow? I've got to bring at least some ideas to the table, but what? I'm happy we're together again, but we've got a lot to decide about our future, and it's something we need to decide as a team. Everyone's had their own challenges to face and problems to conquer, but each of them faced what they were given head on. We ended up apart, but no one lost hope. Instead, everyone tried to make the best out of the circumstances they were dealt with. Thinking back on our reunions, I think the one who left the strongest impression was... Who left the strongest impression? All of them did, actually, you know? I guess they want me to pick. You know what? Go with Laura. I think it would have to be Laura. We may not know where her father is, but she bravely stood up and defended Legram in his place to the best of her ability. And that couldn't have been easy for her with how worried she must be. Not once did she let her worries stop her from doing what needed to be done. She proudly fought to protect her home. I wish I could be like her. I wish I could be that strong.
Reen?
Laura! I didn't think anyone else would come here so late at night. Sorry, I'll get out now.
You don't have to apologize, Reen. I should have checked if someone else was inside before coming in. Truth be told, I was thinking the same thing. I thought it would be empty by now. Still, this might make for the perfect chance to sit and talk, no?
Oh, you still want to come in?
There are few things more pleasant than relaxing in a hot spring while gazing up at the wintry sky. That tingle of warmth returning to my fingers and toes is particularly nice.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's my favorite time of the year to relax in the springs too. But never mind that. Are you sure you're comfortable with both of us being here, Laura? It's pretty late, and with the two of us, it's kind of,
Well, I am modestly covered, so I don't think there's a problem, per se. Although I'd prefer if you didn't look at me quite so pointedly. It's embarrassing for me to be here too, I hope you realize.
True. I wasn't doing it on purpose. Sorry. Anyway, you said you wanted to talk, right? Was it about anything in particular?
Well, I wanted the opportunity to say thank you.
You're thanking me? For what? I don't feel like I've done anything that warrants being thanked.
Everything, I suppose. I wanted to thank you for surviving all this time so that we could meet again. And I wanted to thank you for coming all the way to Legram to find us. Crow may not be with us, but you're the reason the rest of us are together again.
I think that's a bit of a stretch. Besides, it was only because of you guys that I was able to do anything at all.
Well, it's understandable that you'd feel that way. Still, I believe Class 7 is only what it is because you are at its center. You were the one who stood right back up and fought, and it's because of that we were able to make it this far. That's what I feel, and I know that's how the others feel too. So, thank you, Reen. I'd rather you didn't laugh at me. It took a lot of courage to come in here and tell you that, you know.
I'm sorry. I wasn't laughing at you. It just finally hit home that everything Elise said was true. I had no idea that everyone was thinking of me as much as they were, or that so many people were looking out for me. It just made me realize all over again how blind I've been all this time. So I couldn't help but laugh at myself.
I see. In that case, be sure that you never forget what I said. We've been through so much together. The bonds formed between us will not be so easily broken.
Don't worry. I won't forget. And now that Class 7 is together again, I'm sure we'll be able to go back to the Academy one day. As long as we don't give up, I know we can make that a reality. So, let's give it everything we've got.
Of course.
Your bond with Laura strengthened. Okay, our meeting in the Phoenix Wings cafeteria isn't until this afternoon, which means I got plenty of time to figure out what we can do beforehand. Maybe it'd help to ask the others about what's on their minds too. Yeah, sounds like a plan. Now we got bonding points again. This time, Laura, Emma, Eustace, and Sarah have 2 bonding events each that can be viewed instead of 1. Talking to one of these characters after viewing their first bonding event will allow you to view their second. Ah, interesting. Let's super save for now. Alright, we got Laura, daughter of the famous warrior Viscount Arcade, always trying to pursue greater heights in swordsmanship. Emma, friendly, kind-hearted president, a descendant of the Hexen clan, Reen's guide as an awakener. Eustace, bastard child of Duke Alberea, always conducts himself with pride, which can annoy others. Instructor Sarah, Class 7's homeroom teacher, formerly an A-rank bracer known as Purple Lightning. Alright, so we got some bonding to do. So that's exactly what the plan is. Alright, hold on a second. Oh, that's a lot of people. Alright, who do I want to bond with first? Wow, they are all over the place today, huh? Alright, let me go start with... Hold on. I'm gonna go with Sharon. Doing some shopping, Sharon? That's right. Since you all be gathering for a discussion in the Phoenix Wings, I thought I might help out in the kitchen. I also thought I could prepare some food for your father, seeing as your mother has other business to attend to. That's awfully generous of you. Thanks. With several Ouroboros members having recently revealed themselves to us, I can't help but assume they're up to something. I'd like you to know, Ravine, that no matter what happens, my alliance will always lie with you and your classmates. Please ensure that whatever you decide on this afternoon is something you can do without regret. Sharon? I swear we will. Glad to have your support. Till the end of time. It's great to know she's got our back, but she's still cooking for Dad. Maybe I can help her out with that. Let's go. Well, even if you're looking out for us, that doesn't mean I can't help you with cooking for my dad. Might as well try and pay him back a little bit for all those years of love and devotion, right? I'm sure your father would be overjoyed to hear you say that. As soon as I'm done with shopping, we can head over to the kitchen. Together, Reen and Sharon walked to the mansion. After seeing that Reen's mother was out, they started making a hearty meal for his father. Oh, you're making Ymir-style borscht. Good idea. It's got plenty of vegetables and it should be great for warming him up to boot. I couldn't agree more. All of the protein in the meat I'll be using should help accelerate his recovery as well. Master Reen, could I trouble you to chop the vegetables? If you would, I'll set about preparing the meat and seasoning the soup. Sure. It's times like these where she seems like just any other maid. It takes me back to watching her cook for us in the dorm. It's hard to believe that she's actually an enforcer of Ouroboros sometimes. Ow! Is something wrong? Heavens, you sliced your finger! Sorry, I should have been paying more attention. I didn't cut it too deeply though, so it should be fine. Oh no, that won't do at all. Would you hold still for a moment, please? I'll stop the bleeding. Sharon, what are you... This is so awkward. There, that should do the trick. Sharon, I'm not sure it's a good idea to start sucking on people's fingers out of the blue like that. Any particular reason? I'll bring you a bandage, so please wait in the adjacent room. She's messing with me again, isn't she? There we are, all better. Please leave the rest of the work to me. You should give your finger time to heal. You're probably right. I'm sorry that I couldn't be of more help. You need to be sorry, Master Reen. You made a valuable contribution as it was. It brought back memories of Lady Elisa's younger days too. Whenever she fell and scraped her knees, she would always start crying to me to come and help her. How sweet. I can picture how embarrassed she'd be if she learned Sharon was telling people this. Come to think of it, you've been working for the Reinford family for a while now, haven't you? 7 years, in fact. It was shortly after Mr. Reinford's passing. I can't begin to thank Madam Chairman Arena enough for giving me the chance she did. It was only thanks to her kindness that I was able to begin a new life under her employ. Does that mean you'd never been a maid before she hired you then? What were you before that? Oh. As you no doubt suspect, I lived as an enforcer. A mission given to me by Ouroboros was what first led me to meet her, and she wasted no time in trying to hire me. I served in both capacities concurrently after that. You won't find many executives who would knowingly hire an agent of Ouroboros. She never ceases to amaze, huh? She certainly doesn't. Nonetheless, it was thanks to her that I was able to find a new path of my own. It's too late for me to turn back and change what's already been done, but she was willing to give me a different future. What do you mean? Oh, nothing. I was simply thinking out loud. Regardless of what happened in the past, my love for the Reinford family will never waver. Nor will my devotion to Class 7, Master Reen. I shall continue to do all that I can to serve you. Thank you. I know we can always count on you. And everyone else knows that too. I hope we'll always stay fondly in your thoughts, Sharon. After their conversation was finished, Sharon returned to preparing Baron Schwarzer's meal. And after helping however he could until his mother returned, Reen left them to finish by themselves. Boom, baby. What we have, powerful strike and auto curia. Oh, let's see the thing. Sharon. Alright. She is thankful for Irina for giving her a new life as a maid despite her past. Wait. There you go. Oh, she has one more thingy here. Alright, next up, I want to bond with... who else here? I got 6 more, right? Let's go with... I'm trying to find her. Alright, I think I know. Might be outside, though. Up. This is... I recently bonded with her, so hold on a second. There's that, and there's... Plaza Foot Bath. Alright, now, I'm right here. There they are. I was looking for Fee and, Claire. Captain Claire, something wrong? Hello, Reen. It's nothing major. I just received an update of one of my men that contained some information I found personally relevant. Oh, well, I won't pry. But at the risk of sounding condescending, try not to push yourself too hard. Today's one of the few chances we'll get to rest. I appreciate the concern. Still, you have bigger things to worry about than my well-being, like the future of Class 7, for example. And with the town's defenses as solid as they are, now's the perfect time to sit back and figure all of that out. She's putting on a brave face, but I can tell she's more exhausted than she's letting on. Well, since we're so well defended, why don't we both take a little time to unwind? They have billiards at the Phoenix Wings, if you're interested. What do you say? Well, given how many people we have trying to keep the town safe, sure, I'll take you up on that offer. Watch her play like a pro. Ha! I can't believe you just pocketed all the balls in one shot. Fortunately, they all moved exactly how I calculated that they would. I'm sorry I've ended the game before you even had a chance to take a shot, haven't I? Thinking about it, games like these seem like exactly the kind of thing you'd be good at. I was probably walking into a bear trap the moment I invited you. Granted, I should have at least tried to hold back a little. Sorry. Lecter would have done a better job of making the game more enjoyable for both sides, all the while leaving certain elements up to chance to keep things interesting. The lines right up with my impression of him too. I always did peg him as a trickster. Still, I wish I was a better player. I'd be able to put up a halfway decent fight in that case. Well, how about I give you a few pointers while we're here? You don't mind? Not at all. I can teach you some valuable skills that are guaranteed to help. Making good use of them will be down to you, but they should allow you to improve your score when playing. Well, if you're sure that you don't mind. Captain Claire then started happily teaching Reen how to play more effectively. She made even explanations on complicated issues and techniques sound simple, going through every step with limitless kindness and patience. And thanks to that, he was able to improve an astonishing amount in a relatively short period of time. Well done. That's the 9 ball pocketed as well. Thanks. To be honest, this is the first time I've been able to pocket all the balls without making a single mistake. You really are natural at teaching. I wouldn't have been able to do anything at all if you weren't such a capable pupil. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. I'm happy to keep practicing with you if you're up for it. Really? You're a kind person, Captain. What makes you say that? Well, it's true you went out of your way to help us countless times on our field studies. And now you've chosen to accompany us here and help with protecting the village. It's easy to forget sometimes that you're part of the RMP on an Iron Blood. It feels like you're always there watching over us from the shadows, and I really do appreciate it. I think you're overstating how much I've really done. I'm a Thor's graduate as well, after all, so I can't help but want to look out for others from the academy. In some ways, I just want to act like I'm still there, looking out for my classmates like an upperclassman would. Well, whatever your reasons, that doesn't change that I'm still grateful. I can't say for sure, seeing as I only have a younger sister. But if I had an older one, I have a feeling she would be just like you. Captain? What was that all about? Don't mind me. Please try to think of it as nothing more than a meaningless gesture. Well, if you say so. Regardless, I intend to continue doing whatever I can to aid you in the future. My primary duty may be to serve the Railway Military Police and carry out the will of the Chancellor Osborne, but I have no reason to believe that I'll ever be anything other than an ally to you in Class 7. I wouldn't have it any other way. I know that any help you can give will go a long way for us. While Reen still had no idea what prompted her sudden embrace, he wasn't able to press the subject further. Their conversation now over, they silently made their way back outside. That was a nice little moment. Level 3, baby. Let's go. Powerful strike and counterattack. I need that. Alright, now I'm going to bond with someone I haven't seen in so long. We have to go to Phoenix Wings. Where are they all hiding? Upstairs? Alright, there's Elliot. Are they all outside though, or are they inside here? How odd. Alright, oh wait, there's other rooms. Oh, there's Eustace. Approaching the current will allow you to enter the bats. Entering them will recover all lost HP and EP and restore everyone's CP to 2. Really? That is cool. Alright, where? I was trying to go and speak to, oh, there she is. I was looking for her. Sarah. Well, seeing as Tovol and Miles are safe, I'm guessing all the bracers here in Ereboni are probably okay. Wish I could say the same for our colleagues over at Crossbell, though. I can't even get in touch with Wenzel. A friend of yours? We go a ways back, yeah. He used to be registered as a bracer here, but eventually he packed up and moved to Crossbell. Anyway, leave worrying about the guild to us. You've got enough on your plate as it is. Just focus on what move you guys are gonna make next. If you feel like you need a break, I'd be happy to join you, though. Maybe I should take her up on that. That sounds nice. Would you mind hanging out for a while? Striking while the iron's hot, I see. Alright, I could use the company. I was actually thinking of heading to the tavern for a drink or two. What do you say to a little change of venue? That's fine with me, but I'll stick with living the dry life. Figured you'd say that. Come on then. No sooner had they arrived at the tavern did Sarah ask Gerald for alcohol recommendations. And after she offered to pay, Reen settled on a ginger ale. Ah, this is the good stuff. It's got a very mellow taste, but it's sweet and refreshing too. I had no idea you can make something so good out of rice of all things. It's a kind of alcohol from the east that Master Kafai brought here, I believe. Gerald said it's called Junmai Shu. That Master Kafai sure knows his stuff. He sounds like a man I'd love to drink the night away with. He's always been a bit of a heavy drinker, so I'm pretty sure he'd take you up on that if you asked. But you might want to cut down on the booze. With things so shaky now, you never know when you'll need to take action. I know. I'm not planning on getting myself plastered when you've got that discussion later on, so don't freak out. I think I've earned a bit of alcoholic relaxation time personally. After all, I went cold turkey while I was in hiding. It was torture. Would you deny your poor instructor some sweet, sweet relief? Sure. Relief. Let's call it that. What have you been doing all this time anyway? We didn't hear so much as a rumor about you. Oh, I was just lying low, gathering what information I could through connections from my guild years. Information about what was going on elsewhere in the country, the capital in particular, that kind of stuff. In the capital? Did you manage to find anything out? No more than you did yourself, sad to say. The Noble Alliance is doing a great job of keeping information from leaking out of the city. After that, I decided to sneak into the Croatian province to follow the Alliance's movements from there. And that was when I ended up getting in contact with Eustace. I see. It's pretty impressive you were able to do so much all on your own. Well, working alone and gathering information are two things I had to get used to during my guild years. So it's nothing new for me. If anything, I'm more impressed with everything you've managed to do. I was glad to see everyone here was okay after that Jaeger attack too. Sounds like it was a high-ranking corps. Yeah, the Northern Jaegers under orders from Duke Alberea. Fortunately, there were no fatalities, even if the experience was pretty traumatic for everyone. Dad's woken up now too, so there's been no real long-term damage there. We had the goddess' blessings in that respect. I'm sorry I couldn't be there to help when you needed it most, Reen. You don't need to apologize. You couldn't possibly have known that was gonna happen. Is something wrong? You look distracted all of a sudden. No, it's nothing. I was just thinking about what a relief it is that your dad's okay. He always seemed like such a pleasant man, especially for a noble. Handsome too. I don't like where this is going. Oh, relax. I'm just kidding. Anyway, all that aside, you've made it this far. You can make it the rest of the way too. Keep your eyes on the future, and that starts by deciding what to do next. You're right. We'll all be counting on your this stuff is awesome. Can you at least let me finish before you wind up passed out on the floor? After finishing her drink, Reen led an ever so tipsy instructor Sarah back to the Phoenix Wings. Everyone's getting to level 3, I love it. Deadly assist. Alright, by that logic, her thing must be... Oh, nothing yet? Okay, well, I thought it would, updated. But then again, they did say they gave us more bonding points to bond with them again, so we can get their thing updated, I believe. Alright, who is next here? We got... You know what? Let's go to... Let's bond with Gaius. And then we'll do Elise next, Elisa, and then... Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. I figured a quiet church would be a perfect place to sit and think about what we can do. But so far, it hasn't done me much good. There has to be something we can do to help the people of Erebonia, but what? Yeah, though hopefully whatever we decide on will help people in Nord too. There's gotta be something that only we can do that will help better people's lives. We just need to figure out what. That's about the point I'm at. Still, if we keep thinking it over, I'm sure the Wind and the Goddess will grant us their inspiration eventually. This does actually seem like a pretty good place to brainstorm. Maybe I should join him for a while. You know, now that I think about it, there's someone I'd like you to meet. A friend of mine, in fact. A friend of yours. Yep, follow me. I'll introduce you. He should be in the village right now. He made a friend that quick, huh? Is this friend of yours here? I can't sense anyone. I suppose even you would have trouble sensing him, especially if you're trying to sense a person. What am I looking for if he's not a person? Here he is. Oh, neat. Is that a hawk? Huh. Looks like the one who helped save us from those Jaegers in Nord. The very same, in fact. He's a friend of mine who watches over the Nord Highlands from above. His name is Zio. He was named after one of the warriors who fought alongside Emperor Drykos during the war. He looks so cool up close. But what's he doing all the way out here? Your guess is as good as mine. I spied him on the roof of the Phoenix Wings last night. He might have followed our scent. All the way from Nord, though? That's quite the distance. I wonder why he would follow us. I wish I could say for sure. But I'd like to think he wants to lend us his aid. He watched us slip up a few times during our battles, so I imagine he thinks he could make things easier. I see. Well, he's already gotten us out of a bind once, and if he's got your glowing endorsement, he'll make a hell of an ally. Okay. Welcome to the team, Z. Whoa! I think he's trying to say that he has no intention of getting too friendly with us. He'll just watch over us from above like he did before, lending us his aid when he sees fit. That works too. In that case, thanks for watching our back, Zio. So he's just a show-off. Ugh, we're finding new allies left and right these days, aren't we? It certainly feels that way, though I bet he sees us more as weaklings in need of protection than allies. Either way, I'm sure his support will be invaluable in the days ahead. Yeah, I don't doubt that. And I can say the same about yours. Likewise. They quietly watch Zio fly off into the distance before returning to the church together. Gaius learned the craft Hunter Wing earlier than he otherwise would. Really? This craft allows him to summon Zio to do damage in a line. Oh. That's what I'm talking about. Level 3, baby. I got 3 more left. Alright, let's go to Alisa. Where is she hiding? Oh, she's probably upstairs. I have to be careful not to go to my own room. Okay. There she is. What are you doing in here, Lisa? Your mother told me that I could find some tools in here, so here I am. I need them for the work I'm going to be doing on the orbital bike. Wait, you know how the bike works well enough to do that? Well, an engine's an engine, right? I should be able to tinker with it. After all Angelica's done for us, I at least want to make sure she gets her precious bike back in top condition. Might be nice if I gave her a hand. Need a hand there? Sounds like a 2-person job to me, and I feel bad making you do all the work when Angelica left it in my care. I figured you'd say that. It'd probably go more smoothly with an extra pair of hands, so sure. Alright, that's everything around the orbital engine taken care of. It could probably do with being taken for a test ride at some point though. Or I should oil the moving parts too. Man, you really are amazing. I knew you were good with orbital technology and all, but I didn't expect you to be able to perform maintenance this well. All of this is just a stopgap, really. I had a few chances to look at it back at the academy too, so I have a vague idea of what needs doing, but that's all. Doesn't make you any less amazing in my eyes. When in Nord, you worked out what was wrong with the truck and even knew the model of that motor we found. At first, I thought it was just because you're part of the Reinford family, but I feel like that's underselling you now. You must have studied like crazy to know so much. Well, I'd spent a lot of time studying orbital technology even before enrolling at the academy. I used my family name however I could in order to visit RF factories and attend lectures at the Institute of Technology. I'm more than confident I made the most of every chance I had to study and broaden my knowledge of the field. I have a feeling I know why you did all that too. Was it to rebel against your mother? Well, I can't deny it. Not to be a dead horse, but it felt like Mother just stopped caring about us after my father passed away. I mean, she'd stolen the company from grandfather and everything. How could you do that to your own father? So I suppose you could say all that studying was my way of trying to show her up at something. A little, at least. I see. So, were you able to? Not in the slightest. Now that she's missing, this isn't the time to be thinking about my next act of rebellion either. And you know what? That's fine by me. I've made up my mind to focus on the future rather than the past for now. I gotta keep that promise I made to her in Ruhr after all. I'll be running the company before she knows it. I think she'd prefer it that way, honestly. Huh? Ha, look at you. You were so engrossed in the bike that you didn't even notice all the snow building up on your head. Still, I think you found the right way to approach things. I'll have to pick up a few pointers from you. Can't let myself get too wrapped up in my past either. And that way, we'll both be able to find the best path for each of us to take. I certainly hope so. Come on, don't cry. Here, this will cheer you up. Is that a bunny made out of snow? And look, you've got loads of snow on your head too. Don't worry, you can follow me back to Ymir. So stay close, okay? Okay. Are you kidding me? What's wrong? I can't believe I forgot. Remember how I talked about coming up here with my family as a kid? I ended up getting lost out on the mountain. But just when I started to think I'd be lost there forever, a boy appeared out of nowhere. And he led me all the way back to Ymir. That boy was you. I'm sure of it. That does ring a bell, actually. The year after that was when the whole thing with my power happened. So I kind of pushed everything else to the back of my mind. Weird, we really did meet when we were kids. I was only joking about it before, but yeah, we really did. I'd forgotten all about it too, probably because it was a scary memory for me. I don't blame you. Still, you don't get coincidences like this every day. I'd be embarrassed to try and attribute it to something like fate, though. Yeah, you're right. Maybe if we'd realized sooner, sure. But it makes me happy to know it was you all along. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. It's nothing at all. Anyway, let's finish up with the bike, shall we? Yeah, sure. Rena and Elisa worked together to finish the rest of the bike's maintenance, the two of them feeling somewhat awkward around each other due to their recent discovery. And upon their completion, they went to return the tools to Baron Schwarzer's study. Almost to level 4. Wow, nice. First meeting. It turns out that Rena and Elisa first met when Elisa came to Ymir on vacation with her family. Alright. Next up will be... I bonded with Sharon already. Alright, let's leave. I'll bond again with Laura, and then I'll use the last one on whomever. Even the air here feels clean. It's not hard to see why young Kafai is so fond of this village. I hope that I'll get a chance to bring Father and Klaus here one day. We'd be happy to have them, and don't worry, I'm sure you'll have plenty of chances once the war is over. I hope so. I suppose that's another reason for us to hasten its conclusion. But I'm still at a loss as to how, though. What should we do, I wonder? She's definitely racking her brain over this. Maybe a break would do her good. Why don't we go somewhere and take a break? It's good to take a breather sometimes when you're stuck on a difficult problem. That sounds reasonable. In that case, I'd like to ask you a favor. Would you escort me to your room? What? Even I'm like, what? So this is your bedroom. The decor has something of an Eastern feel to it, fitting for a former student of Yonka Fai's. Is there anything here that's particularly representative of the 8 Lees school? I should have known. You caught me off guard when you asked to see my room, but it figures that's what you were interested in. Why would you be surprised? Oh, it's nothing. As for your question, I don't have all that much, I'm afraid. Wait, actually, I have some tea leaves Master Kafai gave to Dad a while back, I think. How about it? You up for having some green tea? Really? I like that very much. This has quite a refined taste indeed. It isn't my first time tasting green tea. Monica let me sample the tea served at her class tea house during the festival, but this seems to have more depth to its flavor and fragrance. Master Kafai is a huge fan of this kind, apparently. He brought it back from the east himself. He's always bringing gifts whenever he comes to visit, so he's popular among the locals. Everyone here likes him. Really now, I've yet to have the opportunity to meet him in person, but I can easily see why he and Father get along so well. Would you happen to know where he is now? Nope, afraid not. That letter I received from him during our vacation here didn't specify. He's always been something of a vagrant. He wanders the continent throughout the year, stopping off wherever he pleases. So while I couldn't tell you where he is, I'm sure he's just fine. I imagine so. If rumor is to be believed, he's as proficient with a blade as Father, if not more so. Are you worried about your dad? I am. I try to avoid admitting it publicly, but it's a fact. His skill is as immense as ever, but given the various new weapons that have come into play during this war, along with other powerful warriors such as General Aurelia and that knight from Ouroboros. Yeah, I can't blame you for being a little concerned under the circumstances. Still, all we can do in the meantime is keep going and do what we're able. So long as we keep that up, I'm sure we'll be reunited with them in due time. Maybe. No, you're right. In a sense, this is but another trial we must overcome to reach greater heights. Yeah, and I know we can overcome it so long as we're together. Got that 4 going. Cover and powerful strike. That's what I'm talking about. Notebook updated. She sees the current situation as yet another trial she must overcome to become stronger and intends to do so. Alright, we got one more. Alright, who am I going to use it on next? You know what? Let's bond with Eustace. If I remember, he's on this side. Nope, wait, nope. I guess I remembered wrong. That's Elliot. Ah, he might be on this side then. Aha, billiards. Deciding what our class should do has proven more difficult than expected. Still, I left Berea hard so that I could make my own decisions about my life. I'll make this one for myself too. Even if the decision is yours, the burden doesn't have to be. House Alberea's problems concern every single one of us. There's no reason you need to sort all of this out on your own. We've been with you this long. That's not going to change. Thank you, but I'm aware. I bet a break would help him clear his mind and make better decisions. Should I drag him to one? Let's go. Hey, wanna come look after Arthur with me for a bit? Who in blazes is Arthur? Oh, was that the name of our family's horse? Got it in one. Since you're kind of a horse expert, I'd really appreciate if you could help me out with him for a bit. Why not? I'd like to see him myself. Lead on. This is a fine horse. It has a strong air of dignity about it, much like the young horses back at the academy. Yeah, he does. He's pretty friendly too, isn't he? He's been here since Dad took me in, so he's getting up there in years. But he's still got that same energy. Dad still takes him out hunting along with Badeau. I see. I imagine his dignified appearance is a result of much experience then. He does appear to be in dire need of some exercise, however. His muscles aren't quite as defined as they should be. Wow, I'm amazed that you could tell. You're not in the riding club for nothing. He hasn't had much chance to get out and about since Dad was injured, so that's probably why. Then if we can, I'd like to do something about that. What say you to giving him a good brushing over when we take him out? I think he'd like that a lot, actually. After brushing Arthur and giving him all the care and adoration a horse could dream of, Reen and Eustace took him out onto the mountain path. He seems really happy to be out of the village. It's been quite a while since he last had the chance. So it appears. I imagine that he would rather go out hunting with his master, however. Horses are always far more comfortable with their usual rider. My family and the riding clubs are no exception. That makes sense, but with Dad's injuries, I don't think he'll be fit to go out hunting anytime soon. Speaking of the riding club, do you have any clue what's going on back at Thor's? You were the one who managed to get the bike out there, so I figured you might know something. Mind you that I was only able to do so through the Noble Alliance. I tried to make use of my position as a member of the House Alberea as best I could. Unfortunately, my authority pales in comparison to Father or Rufus's. So, I'm afraid that was the most I could do. It's a shame. Still, I appreciate you trying. I really do owe you a lot, even for little things like helping me look after Arthur. I hardly think I deserve your thanks. Being my father's son, some of the responsibility for his disgraceful actions falls on my shoulders as well. I have a duty to all within my power to atone for that to both Baron Schwarzer and Ymir's people. I'm sure my brother feels similarly, even if he appears to be prioritizing his role in the Civil War at the moment. Like I said back in Berea Hard, there's no reason for you to feel responsible for what happened there. I understand you're concerned about your father and your brother, but dwelling on the past benefits no one. All we can do is keep moving forward. You do have a point. No burden out there exists that you should have to shoulder alone. Not as long as you're a member of Class 7. As long as we're together, we'll be able to carry the weight of any burden. Heh, one would think I'd be used to how our class works by now. And the Imperial Nobility should show its spirit through actions over words. Exactly. We both know what we need to do. We swore to one another when we fought that moment you came back to us. Indeed, and I fully intend to do as promised. The two continued walking along the path with Arthur a little longer, then eventually turned and descended the mountain. Of course, upon their return to Ymir, they gave him a generous helping of food before going back to the Phoenix Wings. Got that 3. Alright. This seems like a good stopping point for the day, guys. We managed to take care of all the bonding points we have thus far, and we'll continue on with the main story in due time. Or should I say in the next one. So, thank you all for watching.